Hi, guys. We're joining you again today, getting started early because we got a lot to discuss. Sarah, you were saying that there's already some questions coming in, right? So yesterday we realized when we go on at the 7 o'clock hours, we can barely keep up with the questions. So let's get right into it. I know Jeff is ready to go and answer some more questions.
This question seems like it's for us.
Okay.
If you're looking to ask questions online to Jeff, there is no access code. You basically just click on the link that's in the description that we're showing. If you're looking for a different access code, Darlene, just go ahead and type it up in Facebook and we should be able to answer some of those questions for you, okay?
Right. So on the post that you're seeing, there should be a link. When you click that, have your video and microphone going, or if you don't want to be on video, just your microphone going, we should be able to pop you up to have you answer your questions. And if you'd rather just ask in the comment, make sure you do ask in the comment. It'll pop up and we'll be able to read your questions for Jeff. Looks like, Jeff, give me a thumbs up if you're ready to go. I know we got a lot of people waiting. I'm going to punch Jeff up right now. Kabam. Jeff, what's up, buddy? Let's go ahead and unmute him too.
There we go.
Jeff, can you hear us?
Can hear you. You should be able to hear me.
Yeah, we hear you as well. So we're having some...
both of you.
Thank you for having us, Jeff. Again, yesterday was just a real rapid pace, right? We are used to having these at 1 o'clock. When we had it at 7 o'clock, I mean, we could barely keep up with the questions, and that's very much the purpose of what we're doing here, is to get questions answered in regards to filing issues, appeal issues, just countless questions people are having in dealing with and coping with filing.
Yes. Well, and I want to show you something.
Sure.
Hold on a second. This is recent data. Let's get that up and share it. Am I sharing that?
Let me add it to the stream 1 second.
Yeah, add it to the stream. One second. Yeah, we see it. What are we looking at? What is this?
So that is weekly unemployment claims in Illinois, and it has been growing. It's amazing. The brown at the bottom on the right is initial claims. That's who just filed. So that's dropping a lot. And at the blue those are continued claims. So you can see it's increased a little in the last week. And the initial claims, people are still filing initial claims. Now, I'm not sure exactly what number that is, but that looks like that may almost be 75,000 initial claims in Illinois.
Huh.
So now that's going to change. It's let me go back to my beautiful face. So that's going to change because Monday, supposedly we're going to be getting all those that weren't eligible for unemployment benefits. So right now, 11% of the workforce is on unemployment in Illinois. We still don't have the 1099s, independent contractors, sole proprietors, and those that have been denied benefits. Those aren't in that number. So Monday are all those people. And the state is recommending that and I hate to be saying this because I know I'm going to be part of the disaster, but if you want to file for unemployment on Monday as a 1099 sole proprietor, they're recommending you file now. So what's going to happen is they've been on the news and out there today and probably tomorrow suggesting you file. So you're going to have all those people filing between now and Monday online on a system that could not handle the normal unemployment for the last 2 months. I think it's going to be a disaster in the next few days and Monday.
What do you anticipate happening with this? I mean, obviously, we've already heard about an influx, people waiting hours. We've gotten screen grabs on people waiting. Gosh, what was I think one of them I saw was 12, but there may have even been more. Do you anticipate seeing some more of this happening, or what's your perception on what people are going to have to deal with.
So what's going to happen is people are going to go online and try to apply, and they're not going to get through. That's what I anticipate. The reason I'm saying this is not to make people panic. It's just relax. What they did in the normal unemployment is when you finally got online, your benefits were backdated till the day that you were severed. They're already backdating to the date you first lost income. If you're sole proprietor, independent contractor, or were previously denied unemployment benefits. And if you've been previously denied unemployment benefits, you've already filed most likely. So it's going to be an interesting show Monday night because you're going to have a lot of people now that think they could just hop online like Amazon, apply and be done in 5 minutes. And I hope that happens. I hope I'm wrong.
Oh, I know we've been hearing about software upgrades, just them trying to keep up with the influx of people coming in. Yesterday, we were talking to our viewers from Indiana. There was a huge period of time, I think it was like 7 to 10, where their site was unavailable while they upgraded things, probably in trying to make the mechanisms ready for this influx that are expected to come in. Have we heard anything about people who have been filing for appeals and what the waiting process is like in that regard?
We haven't, although I've represented someone in an appeal, and I haven't received any information yet. I'm just looking on the state of Illinois. So Illinois is closed down from 8 to 10 p.m. Every night. So it's, they're having the same issues. So from 8 to 10, don't bother trying to file on unemployment. So it's it's gonna be an interesting time for those people. And I know also as part of those that are out, the payroll protection program, I've been hearing a lot of people that have applied. Their banks have said, the money is either gone or they've got too many people applying, so they're not going to be able to get any money. I don't know how that's working yet with the payroll protection program, which that is for not just employers, but that's also for sole proprietors and 1099. So if you're an independent contractor, the payroll protection program is for you. I still suggest you go to the bank and your bank and apply because banks aren't doing it for other people.
Now we heard, what was it like last week, earlier in the week, that it was out of money. I don't know if that would be in certain states or institutions. How would that work in terms of what I was hearing about people saying that they could no longer qualify for the PPP?
So the PPP was out of money before the third bill was passed. The $2 trillion was gone in a few days. I haven't heard that the second amount has been gone through. I know there are banks that are not accepting any more applications, although I suggest if you're an employer, a 1099, an independent contractor, a sole proprietor, even if it's just you, you're the only business, the only employees, the only workers, you still are entitled to the payroll protection program benefits. And once again, it's 2.5 times your income. If you use it to pay wages or it appears yourself, then it becomes a gift. So it's a great way to help businesses get through.
We actually have a comment here. Wisconsin is still going on 7 weeks with no responses to pending adjudication with the claim, not even assigned to an adjudicator. I imagine that come Monday it will be even more backlogged. And
so I don't know, and I apologize. So I don't know if Wisconsin, and I'll quickly look, is I thought they're already online with it. But I'll see. So I think, let's see what Wisconsin says. And I apologize because my focus has been Illinois. So Wisconsin says they're now accepting applications for the PUA. So I would go. If you're in Wisconsin, I would go and file. They're already up and running. A lot of states are already up and running. Bear in mind this came about from the CARES Act. So this has been a law, a federal law, since March 29th. Some states have just had a harder time implementing the software, Illinois being one of them. So it isn't because the nationwide it starts on Monday. Illinois is the only place that starts on Monday. And if you are listening from Wisconsin, you can already apply. It's already available for Wisconsin citizens.
All right.
And you're going to have to reside. We talked about earlier, if you're working in one state and live in another state, you have a choice between two states and where to apply. Wisconsin, for this, you pretty much have to live and work in that place. But, I guess if you live in Wisconsin and you have your business in Illinois, you have a choice then and where to apply.
Yep. Some good news. I mean, this was from a new member about 6 hours ago. She's saying that it took her about 6 days total to get her first payout, along with the benefit letter and all of this. Granted, she had a very normal type of an unemployment case. So, people are being moved through as quickly as they can, but then there are other people who are not able to kind of, make a headway as quickly as we would like. One of the questions, Jeff, that came through was, does anyone know if you will still receive an unemployment card if you're not approved? There seems to be unemployment cards kind of coming through, those little credit cards, debit cards.
The debit cards?
Yeah, the debit cards kind of coming through to people even before they're approved. Some of them are denied, but they still get those debit cards.
So here's how the process works. When you file for unemployment benefits, the state, and pursuant to the Social Security Act, gets you set up right away to get benefits. So you can pay your rent, you can buy food, the bare necessities in life. So the debit card, if that's what you choose, gets sent out right away. A lot of times the money will get deposited after you certify right away. You'll be set up in the system right away. But then someone may look at the application and determine that you're not eligible for benefits. So then everything gets stopped. If you've received money and it turns out you're not eligible, they'll send you a determination that you have to refund the money to the state. If you believe that's wrong, you should file an appeal. If you believe it's right, you have an opportunity to either pay it back, work out a plan with the state, or the next time you file for unemployment benefits, they'll recoup the money from then. So it's, if you're going to apply for benefits again and it turns out you were overpaid and you agree, you should try to pay it off before you file for unemployment a second time.
So, Jeff, I think a question, at least on my mind, from all the articles I've read, unemployment numbers are expected to come out tomorrow. That's going to encapsulate everything that's been going on this last month. There has been talk that this might be rivaling the Great Depression in terms of the claims that are going out there. Do you anticipate that we're at that level where it can only go up from here, considering that states are opening up? What do you make of this? And what do you expect for tomorrow?
So, it's interesting. I do expect, and these numbers are going to be, up till, I think they're as of last week. They won't be as of tomorrow. So I do anticipate we're going to find a higher level of unemployment. One, because still businesses are closing down. People are scared. I think when they start opening it up, I don't think it's going to be that drastic of a change. People that I'm talking to, and I don't know if you've been hearing, even if a restaurant opens up, even if the barbershop opens up, they're afraid to go. So it's one for these businesses to be operating, but it's two whether people are going to go, and so that's a concern. I mean, I know a lot of people are, even with their family members, they're not, they're doing Zoom or Facebook Live, but they don't even want to be with their family members. So it'll be interesting to see if there's much of a change right away. I don't know. Have you guys heard from people on whether they're going to be going right to the barbershop, beauty shop, salon right away?
If Raza has his way, he would be right, right, sitting with his barber the next day, masked and everything.
It's one of the few. It's funny. It's funny the luxuries that you miss and what you decide that you miss the most when a situation like this happens. And for me, it honestly is just sitting with my hairstylist, who's actually a little bit of a therapist too, because it's that time where you sit and you get to vent and you just get to talk, right? It's kind of an experience, and that's one of the things that I miss when surrounded with just my wife and my kids and a lot of things to vent about, yet no one to vent with. But I just half of me jests. But I'm not talking anything that anyone who's watching and listening, who's married, has a family, knows. I mean, it's been extraordinary circumstances trying to deal with families, trying to put up with the situation we currently find ourselves in. So I do think certain people will be in a rush to get out. We've talked to like a couple of our friends who do miss the bars, everything else, but it's going to be interesting to see how it psychologically plays out.
Right. Whether people are going to be wearing their masks. I don't, once again, it'll be interesting to see how many people go out and the demographics of the ages. It's, whether it's just all the young kids that, want to go to the beach, or it's, the elderly that have been tagged as, risky for this COVID-19 virus. So it's an interesting time. I do know for golfing, the pull carts are gone. You can't buy a pull cart now because all the golf courses are open, but you're not allowed to drive. You have to have a pull cart. So all the people like me that are lazy and always drove on a golf course now have to find a pull cart. So there will be a lot of changes. It's a lot of things happening. It's with unemployment. It's
absolutely. Anything else, Sarah?
No, nothing else. I think just a couple questions just are coming up. What were some of the issues and concerns around certification, and what are the common mistakes that people are making that is making this process a lot longer than anticipated? And then how can we rectify it, kind of going back? And I know you've answered them a few times in the past, but it seems like every single time we get a couple new users, couple new people kind of coming in, it kind of they all seem to have the same questions.
Well, right, because it's so the solution is to change the question when you certify on the state's website, and because the question remains the same, it's you're going to get a lot of people that answer it wrong. So when it, and let's step back a second. For certifying, you can do it one of two ways. You can either certify online, or you can certify through teleserve.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them, it's the same questions, same answers. When you get asked for how many days you're unavailable, if you're stuck at home because of COVID-19, then you put down 0 days you're unavailable. You're available to work 5 days under the new definition. When you're asked that question, they'll be asking for the 2 weeks. How many days for that week were you unavailable? People are still putting down they're unavailable for 5 days because they can't leave their house, or because they have to stay home because someone else is ill, or the kids are home from school. So it should be 0 days you're unavailable. The only way to fix this, so if you've already clicked submit or already hung up after answering all the questions and click that you're certifying it, The only way to fix it is to call into IDS and have them correct it. Otherwise, you can't call back and resubmit a corrected one. System won't allow you to do that. Also, if you miss certifying, so your date to certify was yesterday and you missed it, you could certify Thursday and Friday of that week. So, if you missed, it's not the end of the world. But if you miss Thursday and Friday, you need to call in and get it reset for you, because once you miss certifying, you're not going to get any unemployment benefits. It stops for you. So.
Okay. So the numbers again to call in and rectify are scrolling towards the bottom for the 3 states that we've been helping out. If you guys are from any other state and you're tuning in, the easiest thing to do is just click unemployment customer service number for your particular state. So if I was doing it for California, I would say California unemployment customer service number, and I'll give you like an 800 number or 877 number. So something like that. It's a toll-free number where you can go ahead and call in. And yes, the waits are super long, but also any Facebook group that's targeted towards unemployment has like those fast prompts that you can kind of skip, so you can skip through those automated messages. I have a question here, Jeff. I don't know, it's not necessarily applied to unemployment, but let me know what you think. Does anybody know when they're going to release tax returns refunds for their 60-day hold, as it ended yesterday? This is more tax-based. It was asked.
So, the tax refund, when they're going to be paying that?
Yeah.
It's, I have no idea. If they have the bank account, I know it's going faster, but I have no idea on that, because there's not all the employees are working at the IRS. But that's a good question. No idea. And what the other thing is, I heard today that the state of Illinois will be hiring 100 more people to answer the phones. Bear in mind, when you call, a lot of your questions are sophisticated. They're not simple. So, be patient with the person that's answering. They may not know the solution. You may have to ask to speak to someone else. But because it's a complex system. As you're seeing from the questions, from people that post online, from the people that call me, they're very difficult questions to answer when your training just started and all of a sudden you're thrown into the fire.
Agree completely. There's another question. I applied for regular UI March 22nd and was denied because I'm self-employed and I'm waiting for PUI. But today I read on IDES that people who applied for regular UI starting April 1st until now don't need to reapply. But my claim was filed in March. So do I need to apply again in order to qualify for PUI?
So that's a really good question. I've been hearing a lot of different opinions on it, on whether you need to apply or not. The spokesperson for IDS said the first step was to apply for unemployment, get denied, and then apply on Monday through that system. My recommendation is apply through the new system on Monday. I don't know whether, I haven't heard any credible information that if you applied and were denied, you're automatically in the system. Because quite frankly, that would mean you are in the system and you would receive some correspondence. So if you were denied, still apply on Monday. As of today, they anticipate Monday, May 11th, they will be going live. So hopefully that'll be good.
Well, Jeff, I think one of the things that is good is we got inundated with questions yesterday. We went over the hour. It seems like maybe a lot of the questions, at least for this week, might have been answered because there seems to be a lot less coming up here, which might be a good thing. We might actually today be able to take off a little early because I know tomorrow we have a busy day coming up. We actually have two shows because we took a poll. When do people want to hear this? Do they want to hear at 7 o'clock or noon? Most people said 7 o'clock. A few said noon, so we decided we'll just do both times, right? We want to make ourselves available and get as many questions answered as we can. And it worked out scheduling wise that we would be able to do that tomorrow. So if there's any questions, I think those would be good times to do it, and we'll make sure to publicize so people know that as well, that we will be available for 2 hours tomorrow for different times. And we'll again review the whole the group. We get a lot of our questions from Illinois and Indiana Unemployment Guidance Group. Illinois and Indiana Unemployment Guidance Group, go through there and answer questions. This is something Sarah Sadat, Raza Siddiqui, and our expert Jeff Jacobson have been doing. I've lost track, but this is our second week straight of answering questions, and we've been able to get a lot of questions answered, which I'm very grateful for. The less influx we have coming in, the more it seems like people are able to get through and get the process started that they need to. So thank God for that.
They're actually asking some questions in some of the other sites that we are posting this to. Rosa was asking, why isn't my account payable at this time? I was approved and I claim every week. So I think she's saying I certify every week. And it gives me a confirmation number, but she didn't receive emails stating that the account is not payable at this time. Other than short of customer service, I don't know if there's too much that we can do. She's calling from New Jersey, though.
Well, I assume because she's certifying every week and Illinois every other week.
Yeah.
And you've now become an expert in unemployment because your advice is right. I would call customer service and find out where your money is. It's as the commercial goes, it's your money and you deserve it. So find out. Right. Because that's unfortunately one of the things we can't do is look up and see where anyone's money is, which is really the bottom line. No one's filing to spend some time on the internet or on the telephone. They're going through all this effort to get the money so they can pay. Because I can tell you, evictions are still going ahead.
Mm-hmm.
The states are still evicting people, and soon they'll actually be physically removed from their place. So they need the rent money. The landlords need the rent money. The landlords have bills and expenses. So we need to make sure that the state expedites it. And I think you're going to find starting Monday and probably for a few weeks, it's going to be a mess. And, now they're slow in making the payments. I don't know how many people, we've never done this, how many people are entitled to benefits. I don't know if it's going to double. It'll be interesting. It seems like, Roz, at the onset, we got a lot of people that were 1099 workers. And,
yes, we did. Wondering how to go about it.
Right. I wonder if those are going to be equaling the number of W-2 workers. Whether it's going to double the number collecting unemployment. And, the spokesperson for IDS said when he was talking that it's an unlimited fund, that they're not going to run out of money. But that can't be true. There is no unlimited funds anywhere, clearly not in the government. So they can run out of money. I anticipate they will. So we're going to go to the wide angle, huh?
Yeah. I thought I'd change it up a little bit. Yeah, you know what? It does look like we're keeping a little more social distance when we do it that way.
You're hilarious. So Jeremy was asking, am I eligible for unemployment if company asks for volunteers for leave of absence for 60 days? Jeremy is in Illinois.
So, Jeremy, good question. Under the state's regulations, if you're fearful of going to work, you would be entitled to benefits. What in the past has been if the doctor had said something that suggested it's not safe for you to go to work, you have to care for someone. So if it's a possibility you can get COVID-19, then you would be eligible for benefits. And right now with the PUA starting up Monday, you're eligible for benefits one way or the other, whether you are through the normal route or come Monday, if you're not, you'll be eligible as someone that's not eligible for benefits. Michelle asked a good question. Is contacting a state rep about it taking so long helpful or not? I have seen a few people that said they called a representative and then finally got a response. So my knowledge of dealing with the state reps is it's not effective. However, I think for complaining to your state rep is a good way to get the word that there's still a lot of problems. Things aren't easier. I mean, they're who you should be talking to. They probably won't be able to help you directly, but that may be one of the reasons they hired 100 more people to answer the phones, is because people throughout the state of Illinois, and whatever state you're in, it would be the same, are contacting their state reps and asking for help. And so, they're putting pressure on the government to get more help. So in a month, these 100 new employees will be able to help a great deal.
If you're just joining us, Jeff Jacobson is with us on this daily thing we're doing. Sarah Sadat, myself, Raza Siddiqui, answering questions that are posted on the Illinois and Indiana Unemployment Guidance Group. Jeff, we've been doing this for 2 weeks now. The questions keep coming, and we're here to answer them as they come in. But one thing that we were talking about actually right before the show, when we were talking about what to address today, and I didn't know this, you're a hockey player. So while I miss the haircuts, you miss the skating rink. Is that right?
Yes. Well, as you can tell, you probably know I'm not going to miss a haircut. It doesn't, for me, it's not that important. Yes. And I was actually thinking today, well, playing hockey, you've got the helmet, the full face shield, it's maybe you can play. And then I'm realizing there's too much contact. There's no way that you can be spread out, one person to a locker room. It's too much. And
you got to play with me because it's spread out. When I play, I'm always ahead of the crowd and no one can stop me. So actually, I didn't know this about you, Jeff, that you played ice hockey. I grew up playing ice hockey. I haven't played for years. But when this is all over, I'm going to grab you, buy you a beer, and beat you in hockey.
Well, you can clearly beat me because it's been a while since I've played too. Do you have your equipment?
No, I don't. It's back in Massachusetts where I grew up. It's an East Coast thing. I mean, we all kind of grew up playing ice hockey there, and I see that it's got a little bit of a following here as well. I've noticed some of my friends who I never thought play. You and I had this discussion. I would not have guessed that you played, but this is great. We're going to have to start maybe a league or something.
Yes, definitely when we get done with all of our unemployment kind of PSA acts that we're doing here, we have so many people that are out there that are hurting, that just want some help. So you guys, whatever you can do to get your mind off of, the drama that you face at home, Raza.
Oh, yeah.
That I will definitely support you in going out there and playing ice hockey with Jeff.
Between that and the fasting,
Yeah.
I don't know how to stay sane.
Well, you're going to need to get a stick and practice out in your driveway.
That's being taken by the boy right now, who's been using it for basketball. It's the only time he gets him out of the house. So
you mean the real sport? Just kidding.
We were supposed to have a hockey game with a bunch of judges and lawyers, and that all came to a crashing halt. It's it's the exercise. I mean, I've been gaining weight, even though I think I'm eating healthy. The cat wants to say hi.
Oh, hello.
Even if I think I'm eating healthy, apparently I'm gaining weight. So my wife is also looking forward to me getting out and doing some activity.
We're a lot less active than we used to be. You don't realize how much you walk around, I guess, in a typical day until you're confined. But it is crazy because just looking outside in a residential neighborhood, you see people walking around all the time, and it makes me think that maybe we should exercise a little more. But
No, no,
right now
no.
we got some
We got
questions to
important
get to.
questions coming through. No exercise. We don't run in this house.
Yeah.
So this is from Melina. She says, I got unemployment a week before my employer was approved for their PPP loan in Illinois. They're now telling me to give up my unemployment as they will be paying us for the next 8 weeks. The thing is, they gave me they will be giving me 75% of my salary, which is less than what I'm receiving from unemployment, and it does not include the extra 600. If I have no other choice but to give up my benefits, how can I do so without calling? I've called I've called ever since the employer was approved for this, and she has yet to speak to somebody. I don't know how long the duration was, Jeff, but is there any guidance that you can give, Melina?
So, Melina, it's unfortunately creates a huge conflict between the employer and you. So the employer gets under the PPP 2.5 times the payroll, and they have to use 75% to pay the employees. The remaining 25% could be for rent, for utilities. And if they use it like that, it's a free gift to them. And the disadvantage of people filing for unemployment is that their claim rating may go up. And so next year, their state and federal unemployment taxes may go up. It should go up, but they may change it. So what happens is the employer's goal is to pay you the same or more than your weekly benefit amount so that you can't get unemployment benefits. And you don't get the $600 then if you don't get unemployment benefits. So once the employer matches the weekly benefit amount, you're not entitled to unemployment benefits. And unfortunately, I'm not aware of any way to get around that. There's been plenty of cases, and unemployment is 47%, typically 47% of your weekly wages. And so if the employer pays you 47 or 48%, you won't be able to get it. And so that creates somewhat of a conflict between the employer and the employee because you're going to lose a significant amount of money because the employer is paying you. And I wish there was a better solution, but I didn't create the laws.
All right. I know we had a question from Liz the other day. Here's a follow-up, it looks like. With the PUA on Monday, May 11th, and the online portal in regards to being medically unavailable due to being a high-risk group and taking care of someone who is in a high-risk group, how will the state know? Will there be some sort of medical form filled out? There seems to be no information in regards to that. Thank you in advance.
Yeah, so good question, Liz. So I'm assuming you are not a W-2 owner right now because you would be entitled to benefits. So under the state law for regular unemployment benefits, if you have to stay at home to take care of someone because a doctor suggested you do, not because a doctor ordered you to or a doctor insisted, but simply suggested someone has to take care of that person, you would be entitled to unemployment benefits, regular unemployment benefits as a W-2 wage earner. So I'm going to assume you're not that. So under the new law that's coming in May 11th, it's anyone that's not entitled to benefits. So it doesn't matter why. The only thing you're going to have to show is what you made. So if you're a 1099, you'll probably have to submit your 1099. If you're a W-2 earner, you'll have to submit that. I'm assuming if you received unemployment benefits and so you're not eligible because you've used up all those benefits, you probably they'll already have your tax information. Oh. Yeah. Nothing like a cat that wants some attention.
I think the 7 o'clock is really hampering her style right now.
Yeah, I think that's when she wakes up, actually.
Oh, is that what it is?
So we got another question here that's pretty interesting. I didn't think of it before, but I do want to get to it. Luna says that she has applied for and with her W-2 gotten approved in the past For the last 2 months, she has been getting benefits, but she just got her 1099 from her salon job. If she now submits her 1099, are they going to change my benefits weekly? Plus, she asks as a second part to this question, will they pay back? Will it be retroactive?
So the new federal law for benefits for those who aren't eligible for unemployment will be retroactive, and so it would go back. I don't know exactly how they are going to. I haven't been able to see the rules or regulations on how they're going to apply when you're a 1099 and a W-2. So if you're getting benefits already as a W-2 earner, I don't know how the 1099 is going to be impacted by that. I don't know if you're going to be reporting that when you certify, or whether it's going to be two separate certifications. And I don't know that you're going to have to certify under the PUA because it's people that aren't eligible. So I don't know if you're going to have to say you still don't have to work.
Thanks for asking that, Luna. That's a good question that I didn't even think of. I got to say, Jeff, this has kind of given me a new appreciation for all those politicians who are up there giving daily briefings. I mean, you kind of don't see how much physically taxing and enduring just delivering and just talking can be until you make a commitment to do it daily. And I know that's what you, myself, Sarah have been doing, sitting and getting these questions answered as best we can. But like I said, at first I was just like, whatever, but now it gives me kind of a new appreciation for what it does, what it takes to keep people informed.
Yeah.
So Sarah, is he panicking about the 2 shows tomorrow already?
You know what? I get 1 lunch hour, so I'm gonna have to figure out where to spend my time tomorrow.
She's gonna give your attention. Maybe you'll have one host for one show and another for other, and we'll have you on both shows, Jeff. You like how I signed you up for both?
Yeah, you know what? I'm fortunate enough that my employer has allowed me to work from home with the kids' schooling and everything. So I'm not. I'm going to do the best that I can to attend to these. Evenings usually work. Noon usually works for me, Jeff, when we do these shows with you. But honestly, my heart, no matter what happens, my heart is literally out there every single day, just hoping and wondering that the job security continues for the people that do have the work coming in, the other people that have lost their job or are furloughed or are in reduction of force or any other way that they're impacted right now, that they continue to call in and ask for your service, because it's good to hear and talk to somebody and help process what it is that's going to happen. We're giving hope to people. I'm very hopeful that we are giving hope to people and kind of helping them guide through this really crazy time and this really crazy process.
And the situation is changing daily. Even the companies that have been there are talking about what's going to happen later. So it's something we all need to be cognizant of. And I just appreciate, Jeff, you making yourself available and being able to help answer these questions, because there's a lot of questions going on. And the worst time to have to address it is when you've been given this devastating news that your life's changed. And so hopefully we can provide a little bit of solace. And I know that's what we're trying to do by coming out and at least getting some of the information. We have an expert here who knows the information, so to get it out and hopefully help a few people along the way. So thank you for doing that, Jeff. It looks like a couple other questions are coming in.
They're more just comments, I guess.
More comments, yeah.
Yeah, you were saying something, Jeff. I interrupted you.
Yeah, sorry about that, Jeff.
That's okay. So I was going to say it's one thing to be on the show talking, taking these questions and answering, but I have the added thing now of scratching the cat while doing all that. So, Michelle, Michelle's pointing out that in Wisconsin, it can take an additional 30 days to hear about the PUA. And it's unfortunate because the states are trying to figure it out. This is a new law nationwide. It's never been done before. There's never been benefits for, employment benefits for people who don't have, your traditional jobs. So I can understand, and also understand the frustration because governors are telling us we have to stay at home. We can't work. We can't work because of fear of dying, and we need financial help. So I completely understand that.
Yeah, and it's not just the fear of help, right? So it's also people that are impacted, the ones that are at risk, are at a higher risk. It's unfortunately this is the weird time that we're in right now. So
Okay.
thank you for that.
And Luna asked a question, so
Yeah.
and I'll read it. Okay, I have another question too. And you get as many
Taking over
questions.
my job.
My mom applied for unemployment. She only worked 44 hours when her job got laid off due to the pandemic, but her job's giving her paperwork that when they reopen, they're going to call her back to work. But until now, she's not got any updates from her benefits. My question is she going to get approval for benefits, or does she not have a chance for that? So if she's a W-2 wage earner, she should apply for unemployment benefits, and she will receive it. If she's not a W-2 wage earner in Illinois, she should be applying on Monday for the unemployment benefits for those that are not normally eligible for unemployment benefits. And she should be receiving it. The fact that an employer says they're going to call you back to work doesn't mean they're going to, doesn't mean they can. So I would still apply. Once you go back to work, then you need to report that to the Illinois Department of Employment Security that you're back to work. And sorry about that. And then your benefits will stop. You may not be able to go back to work. Your doctor may not think you should, or your mom. If you have a medical condition that you shouldn't be out there working, and the doctor says you shouldn't be working, then you're not supposed to go to work, and you'll be entitled to benefits one way or the other. I got cat hair all over my microphone now. And let me go through just shortly for those that are on the process. So you first file your application. You'll be in the system right away. Once you get a claimant number, you're good to go. And you don't have to file for the workforce right now. Then you'll get a letter telling you when your day is to go online or call in to certify. You can do either one. It doesn't matter. If you're denied benefits and you believe that's wrong, you need to file an appeal. Both the application and the appeal are on my website, jeffjacobsonlaw.com. You can get them down there. You can download them and you can mail them in or fax them in. It's after that process. If you certify every 2 weeks, you'll get your money deposited in your account or your debit card. If there's a problem, your password, something like that, you need to call in to get that squared away with your password, or you haven't received your benefit. A little tip, if you're look for your status on your payment and it says it's been deposited and it's not, that's because it most likely hasn't been. It takes them a little while to deposit it. And then after May 11th, things may slow down.
All right. And just a quick reminder before we get going, because we're reaching up on an hour here. We have 2 shows tomorrow. We're going to do one at noon and one at 7 to make sure we get all the questions answered. We try to do this every weekday. We have been doing it for the last 2 weeks now. We take the weekends off, but the questions can still be asked, and we'll get to those. And they can be asked at Illinois and Indiana Unemployment Guidance Group. Again, Illinois and Indiana Unemployment Guidance Group. And when we come back on Monday, we will start discussing those questions and get those answers out there. Monday through Friday of next week, we're going to be on, is it 11 a.m. every day, right? Or is it noon, Jeff? What do you think you want to do?
You usually tell me. It's, we'll post the times we're going to be on, and that way everyone can know.
Jamie asks, do you know what benefits self-employed people in Illinois will receive?
So yes, Jamie, it's going to be very similar to what the benefits are, you would have gotten 47% of your benefits. It'll cap out at the same amount as normal W-2 earners, and it will have a minimum amount just like W-2 earners. So it looks like the numbers are going to be exactly the same as what you would get. So that's a good thing. The federal government has published their rules and regulations for the pandemic amount. So if I can do a shout out for me, I started doing this. If you liked what we're doing, if you can go to my Google page, jeffjacobsonlaw.com, and rate the service, that would be great. If not, no big deal.
Well, Jeff, we certainly do appreciate that you've been making yourself very available to us and helping people. And we've seen the comments on the side here about the helpful nature of this. So thank you for doing that and continuing to do so. We'll be on
Can
again.
I ask one more question?
Please do, Sarah.
Brad
Please.
has a question. I just didn't want us to kind of forget him.
No.
He says, does anyone have any information if you've been drawing unemployment and your employer appealed it and you lose the appeal? Do you have to pay the state back based on the appeal date, or as you started drawing it all the way back?
So first, if you lose the appeal and it's wrong, you should object to the board of review. And if the board of review doesn't agree with you and you believe it's wrong, you can file an administrative review with the trial court. I mean, it gets a little complex. If, though, you are denied anywhere along the line, every penny that the state has paid out to you, they have a right to recover that. And so they will be sending you a notice once the 30 days is expired. So you can't do anything if you haven't done anything within 30 days. So if you don't file an appeal to the board of review in 30 days, it's over for you then. You will then receive a notice that you have to pay back the state. They have a lot of power to get the money back. Typically what they do is they wait till you file unemployment benefits again, which is the worst time to be reminded that you need benefits. You're just trying to see if I can focus. And so it's the worst time. So my suggestion is, if you can afford to pay it back, because when you go to file for unemployment 2, 3, 4 years from now and you've forgotten about it and you're given a notice of what your weekly benefit amount is, all of a sudden that money's going to be, most of it will be garnished. So that would be my suggestion.
We want to make sure we don't leave any questions behind.
That's the last one I have for today.
Let me see if I'm seeing
We're
any
at
that we missed.
7:51.
Yeah, you know what? And if you, I'm sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
I was going to say the last one is thank you.
That's always a good one. And we will again be back at noon tomorrow Central Standard Time. Yes, Jeff, you're raising your hand.
Oh, Jessica, I thought this was a good question. It just came in. Can a 17-year-old who lost their job due to... So the answer is, I'm not even going to read the rest of it out loud. I've already read it. It doesn't matter if you're employed and you lose your job because of COVID-19, you're entitled to unemployment benefits. So yes, we're hearing about these young kids that were not making a lot of money, and all of a sudden they're getting a weekly benefit amount, an additional $600 a week. So I've been hearing stories where the kids are bringing in more money than the parents. So yes, so it doesn't matter the age, just matters if your job has been reduced in hours from anywhere from completely down to 0 hours to part-time. You're entitled to benefits.
Well, thank you very much, Jeff. We'll be back again tomorrow at noon Central Standard Time, and we'll also be back at 7 o'clock. Starting next week, we'll be doing it either at 12 or 11 or 12. We'll figure that out and put it on the site over the weekend. Next week, it should be regular, pretty standard every day to get through this, to get as many questions as we can answered. We'll also, unfortunately, I was going to say maybe fortunately, but I don't think it will be, have a better understanding of what April looked like come the reports tomorrow. So we'll bring that to you and have you kind of interpret for us what you think is going to happen next, Jeff, if we could ask you to do that, for that's in your wheelhouse.
Sure. And we also I have on the website, Facebook page, a poll for what times are best for everyone. And I know most of you just need the answer right away, but if you can vote on the poll for what time's best for you, that would be great.
And that's at the Illinois and Indiana Unemployment Guidance Group. And the second thing I do want to mention regarding that forum is, Jeff, I know over the weekend, and even though we don't get to it more immediately, whenever you can, I've noticed you've been putting comments in there, and we also have been using those questions to kind of answer during the show. So even if we can't get back to it immediately, I know, Jeff, you've been doing your best to kind of answer whenever you see them as well. So keep doing that, and we'll keep bringing you these announcements. We pretty much committed to doing this every day until we can't, right?
Well, honestly, as long as there are questions out there, as long as we're in this pandemic, there's Raza and I and Jeff, all three of us are people that just can't sit on our hands. We have to do something in order to make the world a better place.
Well,
and I can't always just dream for world peace, right? So this is our next best option.
Well, no,
it's good that you're dreaming for world peace.
Well, it's important, I think, also to discuss how this collaboration started. Is, Jeff, you've helped both Sarah and I'm a union vice president who represents members who are in sports production, and that industry has been decimated. A lot of my members have had to look for resources to file for unemployment, and you've been really helpful with that. You've helped us out, for which we can't thank you enough. And then Sarah herself, members in the community have all kind of reached out to you.
I'm a trustee, Raz. I'm a trustee here in Lisle. I was elected.
I hear that all the time. I know.
I'm an elected official. Just kidding. Yeah. But I am, though, for Lisle. And Jeff actually helped contest one of the charges that was brought up, and there was no bearing to it. So hands down, Jeff had been there numerous times, not just helping me, but helping other people here in DuPage County in Illinois through and through, getting out of some pretty unknown situations that were new to us, and all we wanted to do was just run and make a difference, right? So,
and I think the most important thing is that you're out there helping countless people who are in the middle of probably the worst crisis that they've had to face in their professional careers. I've talked to at least a couple people today, even before we got on this call, that said this is the first time they've ever had to file for unemployment. There shouldn't be a stigma, but there's just a mental like, oh my God, what do I do? This was my routine, this was my life, and now I have to do something different. And to have somebody help through that process, or to have the three of us, and not just the three of us, but the collaborations from other people who are dealing with this, answering questions. I think it's important to realize, even though we're isolated, we're not alone, and we're a community, and we're going to get through this, and we're going to get through this and be stronger. And it's because of people like you, Jeff, who get out here and answer these questions. You're an attorney. Attorneys aren't cheap, but you're doing this because people need this advice. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. My dad always said, if an attorney gives you advice, just shut up and listen, because it's usually not cheap.
Well, you talk to my wife, she won't agree with you on that. But I think this has worked out great. Hopefully everyone appreciates it. The synergy for three of us, I mean, we all add something that none of us could do without the other person. I mean, even Raza, when you're trying to do it on your own, it's not working out.
No. Those are not the best, smoothest shows. And I just want to take a moment to address this too. If you ever see me on the phone or Sarah, it's not that we're distracted, it's we're trying to get to these questions. And it's hard enough with two of us doing it. So you can imagine if it's just me, who's not the strongest reader to begin with, just enough to get by, but a very analytical mind. So my union members are always in good hands. But the thing is, it does take a lot of effort to get the questions answered, to make sure that, because we've got it streaming on a couple sites, that we're getting to everyone's question. And the most important thing with this is getting that information out there. I mean, it's about getting the information to the people who need it. It's a frustrating time. Sites are crashing. Things aren't working like they should. and there's just an influx of people who we can hopefully help. And so that's what we effort to do. And Sarah's going to go break her fast, so I'm probably going to have to get going here in a second as well. But Jeff, you were saying?
Well, it looks like we've answered all the questions for the evening. So it's, I think I'm either going to break my fast, exercise, or have ice cream.
I choose C. But I will tell you this, Jeff. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow at noon and again at 7. And then over the weekend, we will determine when we'll be back for a daily segment next week. And we'll join you all then. So
enjoy your day.
So we'll see you guys all later. Bye-bye. Thank you, Jeff.
All right. Bye, everyone.